You've received a cool undertone palette result when you thought for years your undertone was warm, or vice versa. You've received a warm undertone palette result and for years thought your undertone was cool. I'm recording this video before I head out to the gym. Do you know I record many of my videos before I head out to the gym, where I'm literally just in my gym shorts or what have you on the bottom and put some dressier look on the top? Today I decided not to do that. I've been hearing from so many people who had thought for years they knew their skin undertone and then received a color analysis result that was in conflict with that. And so many cases it is where they thought for a long time they had a cool skin undertone and received a warm color analysis palette result. And so I'm gonna cover that scenario in this video. So first off, I wanna just say, finding out your skin undertone has been a hot topic on the internet for a very long time. When I started creating content, that content was really hot, finding out your skin undertone. And as color analysis has become more and more popular again these days, the info that color analysis is providing may be in conflict with some of that previous info out there on finding out your skin undertone. Potentially, like looking at your veins and things like that, you may have heard about waste of your time in color analysis. None of that is looked at. Whether you burn or tan, none of that is looked at. My advice would be, when you enter a color analysis process, whether it be with a professional or it's on its own, ignore everything you've thought or heard about on skin undertone, even what you've perhaps been told at makeup stores. I've never been to a makeup store and not told that my skin undertone is warm. And in color analysis, when the checks are done, it's very obvious my skin undertone is fully cool. So two different processes are happening, or two different experience levels, or what have you. So my advice would be just to start with a blank slate. My favorite clients, frankly, are people who've never thought about their skin undertone or color analysis results, because they're completely 100% open. Here's just a couple screenshots from a previous video I've done. Here's me in a cool color. Here's me in a warm palette color. And I find so many people too will go, well, your yellows and oranges on me make me quite jaundiced. But really, this is what I mean by jaundice. It takes some experience level to know what jaundice is in terms of coloring versus a healthy glow, because color analysis is ultimately about maximizing your natural coloring to add vibrancy. And my natural coloring is over here, and it's maximized over here with the cool. Over here, there's shadowing and patchiness and what have you. Some people look at this and go, this is a healthy tan, and this is not a healthy tan. This doesn't pass color analysis checks. If you know nothing about color analysis, you're more inclined to look at the shirt over here, whereas over here, you're more inclined to look at my eyes. The goal of color analysis is primarily about harmonizing with you so that all eyes are on you and in a vibrant light. This is not a vibrant light. I find many people too, when they thought they had a cool skin undertone, bought cool makeup, bought cool clothes and things like that. And so for years, perhaps they had seen themselves with perhaps a drained coloring and got used to that. And then when receiving a warm palette result, it was quite a shock, and they weren't used to seeing their natural coloring maximized. This person ended up being a warm spring. She thought for years that she had a cool undertone. There's these pictures side by side. They were taken roughly at the same time. She's done her photography best before you comment saying they're different lighting. I also hear from people who were given a warm palette result when this is their natural hair color range, because they've gone gray, that, oh no, orange and yellow conflicts with my natural hair color. But really, color analysis is about matching to your skin. And ultimately, when you do that, your natural hair color gets some vibrancy. And here's a look at this warm spring client with her warm spring yellow on her. Definitely, she's much more energized over here. She's loving her warm spring palette now, but at first it was quite a shock. When you're used to seeing yourself like this, and all of a sudden see yourself like this, perhaps you would think, oh, there's more jaundice coloring added or what have you. But knowing what healthy is versus more of a jaundice coloring, it develops from experience with clients that a color analysis professional would gain. I also find sometimes, because there's different color analysis systems, and most of the free materials online that I've seen are based on the 12 season system. And so warm spring and true spring are two different palettes in the system I use, and true autumn and warm autumn are two different palettes in the system I use. And so sometimes people who've been given a true spring result will say, oh, but oranges look terrible on me. There is no orange in the true spring palette. It's more of an apricot or peach range. And look at, I have a true spring palette here. These are light and bright oranges in your palette. The autumn range is the deep and softer oranges, or more rich and tangy oranges. And this is a true autumn, this is a true spring. If you're doing self-color analysis or posting your pictures somewhere, my advice would be to actually find out the colors used by the system that you're using to test with, because there's very specific colors chosen in color analysis process that a professional uses that really isolate on undertone value and intensity at various points of time in the 3-step color analysis process that I use. So if you've been given a warm palette result and had thought for years that you have a cool skin undertone, my advice would be to go and try out the colors and perhaps focus on the colors you may like in the palette. I find people focus too much on the colors they dislike, but really a palette has a range of colors in it, and choose the ones that you like to focus on to start with, and usually that opens people up to trying out the rest of the palette. I find that most happens with true autumns. They get stuck on, oh, but I hate mustards and all that. But really, the true autumn palette has other colors in it in the blue, green, brown range. Try those out. There's so much content on the internet about finding out your skin undertone, and then comes along color analysis, where it's a completely different lens at that material. If it helps, it may help to think about things by season. So just to start at step 2 of color analysis, it's a 3-step process, but spring and autumn are the warm home seasons, and summer and winter are the cool home seasons. And so sometimes it helps just to jump to here and do the color analysis checks that I've covered off in my other videos. I even have a video in my content that gives you the skin characteristics to look at. I hope this helps if you're processing color analysis results that were in conflict with the undertone that you thought you were. Yay to embracing your coloring in a new light.